Why ADX Florence Supermax is America's most feared prison. The message came through at 2:47 a.m. 3 words scrawled on a commissary receipt slipped under the door of a rookie correctional officer's station. Check the vents. Stay with this story. What happens next almost didn't get stopped. Officer Marcus Chen had been at ADX Florence for exactly 11 days. He'd been told the facility was different, that the 490 concrete cells buried in the Colorado mountains held men so dangerous they couldn't be trusted in any other prison in America. He'd been told a lot of things, but no one told him about the notes. Chen picked up the receipt. The handwriting was deliberate, careful, not the scrawl of someone trying to hide, but someone trying to be understood. He looked at the vent above his desk. Standard issue. Steel grating, bolted into reinforced concrete. He almost threw the note away. Almost. At ADX Florence, inmates spend 23 hours a day in 7 by 12-foot cells. They eat alone. They exercise alone in individual cages. They see the sky through a 4-inch window. The architecture is designed for one thing: total isolation. There are no communal spaces, no cafeterias, no yards where men gather. Communication between prisoners is supposed to be impossible. Yet someone had sent Chen a message. He radioed his supervisor. Lieutenant Sarah Vega had worked ADX for 8 years. She'd seen attempted escapes, hunger strikes, and inmates who spent years without speaking a single word. "You got a note?" she asked. "Under my door." "What's it say?" "Check the vents." Silence on the radio. Then, "Which unit?" "Mine. H unit." H unit housed some of the most isolated men in federal custody. Terrorists, cartel leaders, men whose names couldn't be spoken in certain parts of the world without starting a war. "I'll be there in 5, Vega said. She arrived in 3. Vega examined the receipt under Chen's desk lamp. Her expression didn't change, but Chen noticed her jaw tighten. "This is Ramirez's handwriting," she said. "Who's Ramirez?" "Cell H7. Former intelligence operative turned arms dealer. Serving 4 life sentences." She paused. "He hasn't spoken to staff in 6 years." "Then how?" "I don't know." Vega stood on Chen's chair and inspected the vent. Nothing visible. She unscrewed the grating. Behind it, the duct looked normal. Standard ventilation shaft, barely wide enough for air to pass through. But when she shined her flashlight deeper, something reflected back. Metal. Thin. Deliberately placed. She pulled it out carefully. A stripped piece of bed frame, sharpened to a point. Wedged into the ductwork at a precise angle. "Why would he tell us about this?" Chen asked. Vega didn't answer. She was already walking toward the control room. ADX Florence's ventilation system is a labyrinth. Every duct is monitored. Every airflow measured. The system was designed by engineers who assumed prisoners would try to exploit it. They assumed wrong. The schematic showed 73 ventilation connections throughout H unit alone, each one linked to central ducts that ran beneath the facility. If someone knew the system well enough, they could pass objects between cells. Or worse, they could pass messages. Vega traced the ductwork from Chen's station back through the unit. The trail led to 3 cells. H7. Ramirez. H12. A man named Ortiz, convicted of orchestrating a prison riot that killed 4 guards. And H19. Vega stopped. H19 was supposed to be empty. It had been empty for 2 months, ever since its last occupant was transferred to medical isolation. She pulled up the live surveillance feed. The cell wasn't empty. A man sat on the floor, back against the wall, staring directly at the camera. He shouldn't have been there. There was no transfer order, no intake paperwork, no record of anyone being assigned to that cell. Vega's hand moved to her radio, but she hesitated. The man in H19 raised one hand slowly. He was holding something. Another note. Even through the grainy camera feed, Vega could read it. 2 words. "Too late." Chen's voice crackled over her radio. "Lieutenant, we've got a problem." "What kind of problem?" "The doors." "What about them?" "They're on a timer I've never seen before." Someone's overridden the system. Vega's blood went cold. At ADX Florence, every cell door is controlled electronically. Backup systems, redundancies, fail-safes designed by experts who studied every prison break in modern history. The doors don't open unless the system says they open. How long? Vega asked. 12 minutes. Maybe less. She ran. The hallway to H Unit stretched longer than she remembered. Her boots echoed on polished concrete. Somewhere ahead, a ventilation fan hummed. She reached H19. The man inside stood now. Average height. His prison uniform was spotless. She didn't recognize him. Who are you? Vega demanded. The man tilted his head slightly, as if considering whether to answer. Someone who was supposed to disappear, he said. His voice was calm, almost pleasant. What are you talking about? 3 years ago, a federal prosecutor made a deal. A very quiet deal. I testified. Then I was supposed to vanish into witness protection. That's not how ADX works. No, the man agreed. It's not. Vega checked her watch. 10 minutes. Why are you here? Because someone changed the plan. Someone decided I knew too much. So they buried me here. No paperwork. No record. No one looking. That's impossible. The man smiled. It wasn't comforting. Check the administrative logs from August 14th, 3 years ago. Cross-reference with DOJ transfer records. You'll find a 48-hour gap. Even if that's true, why tell us now? Because, the man said, the same people who put me here just activated a failsafe. And in about 9 minutes, every door in H Unit is going to open. Vega's radio erupted. Chen's voice strained. Lieutenant, it's spreading. The override is moving to G Unit. Then, someone's unlocking the entire facility. The man in H19 stepped closer to the glass. You have a choice, he said. You can try to stop it, or you can help me finish what I started. Which is? Exposing who put me here. And why? Vega stared at him. 7 minutes left. How do I know you're telling the truth? The man pointed to the vent above his cell. Pull the grating. There's a file inside. Names, dates, bank transfers. Everything you need. Vega didn't move. If I'm lying, the man said, you lose nothing. If I'm telling the truth, you lose everything. She made her decision. The grating came off easily. Too easily. Inside, a folder. Vacuum sealed. Protected. She opened it. The first page was a wire transfer. $7 million. Routed through 3 shell companies. The recipient's name made her hands shake. It was someone she knew. Someone inside ADX Florence. But when they checked the logs, everything changed. Lieutenant Vega's radio went dead. Not static. Not interference. Complete silence. She pressed the transmit button 3 times. Nothing. The man in H19 watched her through the reinforced glass, his expression unchanged. 6 minutes, he said. Vega ran to the nearest emergency phone. The landlines at ADX were supposed to be independent of the digital systems. Hardwired. Foolproof. She lifted the receiver. No dial tone. They've isolated this wing, the man called after her. Whoever's running this doesn't want you calling for help. Vega turned back. Who's they? Check the name on that transfer again. She looked down at the document in her hands. Deputy Warden Gerald Harding. She'd worked under Harding for 3 years. He was meticulous. By the book. The kind of administrator who color-coded his filing system and arrived 30 minutes early to every shift. The kind of man who would never take a $7 million bribe. This is fake, Vega said. The wire transfer went through on August 12th. 2 days before I disappeared into this facility. The man's voice remained steady. Harding received the first installment. The rest was promised once I was permanently removed from the system. Removed by who? People who didn't want me testifying again. About what? A federal judge, 3 senators, and a private prison company that's been billing the government for inmates who don't exist. Vega's mind raced. Ghost prisoners. Phantom budgets. It was the kind of corruption that would collapse careers and trigger federal investigations. If it was true, you're saying Harding took money to hide you here without documentation. I'm saying Harding took money to make sure I never surfaced. No trial, no testimony, no records. Then why unlock the doors? Why now? The man's expression shifted. For the first time, Vega saw something that looked like fear. Because I'm not the only ghost. Before Vega could respond, the lights flickered. Emergency protocols at ADX Florence are designed in layers. If primary power fails, backup generators kick in within seconds. If those fail, battery systems maintain critical functions for 72 hours. The lights shouldn't flicker. Down the hallway, a door unlocked. The sound was distinct. Electronic deadbolts retracting. Pneumatic seals releasing. Cell A12. Ortiz. Vega drew her baton. It was department policy. Officers at ADX didn't carry firearms inside the units. Too much risk of a weapon being taken. Right now, she wanted a gun. The door to H12 slid open 6 inches. Then stopped. He won't come out yet, the man in H19 said. He's waiting to see if it's real. How do you know? Because I've been talking to him for 6 months. Vega spun toward him. That's impossible. The cells are soundproof. The vents aren't. She thought of the sharpened bed frame. The notes. The carefully placed messages. You built a communication network. We built a network, the man corrected. 12 of us. Across 3 units. It took 2 years. Another door unlocked. H7. Ramirez's cell. Then H14. H21. H23. The sounds overlapped, creating a rhythm that shouldn't exist in a place designed for silence. Vega backed toward the control station. Chen, if you can hear me. Her radio crackled to life. Lieutenant. Chen's voice was tight with panic. The system's cascading. G-unit doors are cycling. I've got visual on 3 inmates in the corridor. Secure the blast doors. Tried. They're not responding. Vega pulled up the security feed on the nearest terminal. The screen showed G-unit's main hallway. 3 men stood perfectly still, 20 feet apart, facing the cameras. They weren't running, weren't fighting, weren't trying to escape. They were waiting. What are they doing? Chen asked. Vega didn't answer. She was watching H-unit's feed. The doors that had unlocked were still open, but the inmates hadn't emerged. Ramirez stood in his doorway, one hand on the frame. Ortiz remained seated on his bunk, visible through the gap. None of them moved. They're coordinated, Vega whispered. What? Chen's voice. This isn't a riot. It's a demonstration. The man in H19 nodded slowly. Now you're understanding. Understanding what? We're not trying to escape. We're trying to prove we can. Vega's jaw clenched. Why? Because in 48 hours, a Senate Oversight Committee visits this facility. They're reviewing ADX's budget, deciding whether to expand or investigate. The pieces started connecting in Vega's mind. If they see that the most secure prison in America can be compromised, they'll audit everything, the man finished. Every transfer, every inmate, every dollar. And they'll find you. They'll find all of us. Vega looked at the transfer document again. $7 million. If ghost prisoners existed, the budget fraud would be massive. Hundreds of millions over years. How many? She asked quietly. Across the federal system? We don't know. But in ADX alone. The man paused. At least 23. The number hit her like a physical blow. 23 men who didn't officially exist. 23 billing accounts that generated revenue for someone. Harding can't be working alone. He's not. There's a network. Wardens. Administrators. Federal contractors. It goes higher than you think. Another door unlocked. Then another. Chen's voice. Lieutenant, we're up to 17 open cells. They're still not moving. They won't, Vega said. Not yet. She turned to the man in H19. What happens when the timer runs out? That depends on you. On me. You can try to lock everything down manually. Spend the next hour fighting a system that's already compromised. By the time you restore order, the people who did this will have erased the evidence. Or you take that file. You walk out of here, and you make sure it reaches someone who can't be bought. And leave the facility unlocked? The doors will seal automatically in 90 seconds. This was never about escape. It was about proof. Vega's hand hovered over her radio. If I do this, inmates will know the system can be beaten. They already know, the man said. Everyone in H Unit knows. The question is whether the people outside these walls find out. The lights flickered again. Vega made her choice. She grabbed the file and ran toward the exit. Behind her, doors began closing. The pneumatic seals engaged with mechanical precision. By the time she reached the blast door to the outer corridor, every cell in H Unit had resealed. No one had escaped. No one had been harmed. But everyone had seen what happened. Chen met her at the control station, pale and shaking. What the hell was that? Vega didn't answer. She was looking at the security footage timestamp. The entire event had lasted exactly 11 minutes. Precisely timed. Perfectly executed. She opened the file again and flipped to the second page. It was a roster. Names of inmates who existed in the budget system but not in official DOJ records. The list included men who were supposed to be in witness protection. Men who testified against powerful people. Men who knew too much. And at the bottom of the page, handwritten in neat block letters. Check Harding's office. Drawer 3. Red ledger. Vega looked at Chen. I need you to trust me. Lieutenant. Go to Deputy Warden Harding's office. Third drawer of his desk. There should be a red ledger. That's breaking protocol. I could lose my job. If I'm wrong, you will. If I'm right. She handed him the file. Take this with you. If anything happens to me, it goes to the FBI field office in Denver. Not our internal affairs. FBI. Chen stared at the documents. His hands trembled as he took them. What's in Harding's office? Proof, Vega said. Or my career. She watched him disappear down the corridor. Then she turned back to the monitors. The man in H-19 was sitting again, same position as before. Back against the wall. Hands in his lap. As if nothing had happened. Vega pulled up the administrative logs and started searching. August 14th. 3 years ago. The system showed routine transfers. Standard processing. But when she cross-referenced with DOJ records, she found it. A 48-hour gap. 27 inmates listed as transferred to ADX Florence during that window. Only 4 appeared in the federal database. 23 ghosts. Her phone rang. The landline. It was working again. She picked up. Lieutenant Vega. The voice was calm. Professional. This is Deputy Warden Harding. I need you to come to my office immediately. Sir, I'm securing H Unit. H Unit is secure. I need to speak with you about a personnel matter. Vega's blood ran cold. On my way, sir. She hung up. Harding knew. Somehow he knew. She looked at the monitor one last time. The man in H-19 was staring directly at the camera. He mouthed 2 words. Run. Now. Lieutenant Vega didn't run. She walked. Through the reinforced corridors. Past the checkpoint stations. Toward Deputy Warden Harding's office on the administrative level. Running would confirm guilt. Walking bought her time to think. The administrative wing of ADX Florence exists in a different world than the cell blocks. Carpeted floors. Natural light from narrow windows. The illusion of normalcy. Harding's office was at the end of the hall. The door was open. He sat behind his desk, hands folded, watching her approach. Everything about his posture suggested patience. Control. Close the door, Lieutenant. Vega stepped inside. She didn't close the door completely. You wanted to see me, sir? I did. Harding gestured to the chair across from him. Please. Sit. She remained standing. Harding's expression didn't change, but something shifted in his eyes. Recognition. He was measuring her. There was an incident in H Unit tonight, he said. Yes, sir. A coordinated door malfunction. I've filed a preliminary report. A malfunction. Harding repeated the word slowly. Is that what we're calling it? The electronic systems experienced an unauthorized override. I've recommended a full diagnostic. And Officer Chen? Vega's pulse quickened. Sir? Officer Chen was seen entering this wing 7 minutes ago. He's not scheduled to be here. I sent him to retrieve additional documentation from my report. From my office? The question hung in the air. Vega met his gaze directly. No, sir. From the records room. Harding studied her for a long moment. Then he opened his desk drawer. The third drawer. He pulled out a red ledger and placed it on the desk between them. Is this what you were looking for? Vega said nothing. It's interesting reading, Harding continued. Names, dates, transfers that never quite made it into the official system. I assume someone told you about it. I don't know what you're referring to. The man in H19. Harding's voice remained conversational. He spoke to you tonight, didn't he? He's not listed in our intake records. No, he wouldn't be. Harding stood and walked to the window. Outside, the Colorado mountains stretched into darkness. Do you know what this facility costs to operate, Lieutenant? $78,000 per inmate. Per year. That's triple the national average. ADX houses the most dangerous. It houses 410 inmates, Harding interrupted. Officially, the budget, however, accounts for 433. The number struck her. 23 ghosts. That's a discrepancy, Vega said carefully. It's a business model. Harding turned back to face her. Do you know how federal prison funding works? Congress allocates based on capacity and population. The more inmates we claim, the more money we receive. Fraud. Efficiency. Harding's tone sharpened. This facility operates at a deficit. The ghost accounts generate revenue that keeps ADX functioning. Better security systems. Higher salaries. Equipment upgrades. You're stealing federal money. I'm ensuring this prison can do its job. Vega took a step forward. And the men who don't exist? The ones buried in cells without documentation. Complications. Harding sat back down. Men who needed to disappear. Witnesses who testified and became liabilities. Informants whose existence endangered ongoing investigations. The system wanted them gone. We provided a solution. You buried them alive. We kept them safe, federal housed. Some of them would have been killed in witness protection. Here, they're invisible. They're prisoners without rights. They're alive. Harding opened the ledger. Every name in here belongs to someone who made a deal. Someone who chose this over the alternative. You're lying. Am I? Harding turned the ledger toward her. Look at the dates. Look at the transfer origins. Every single one came from DOJ Black Site Program classifications. These men were already erased from the system before they arrived here. Vega looked at the entries. The handwriting was meticulous. Dates. Origin facilities. Transfer authorizations. All of it bore official stamps. Federal stamps. This goes above you, she said quietly. Far above me. I'm an administrator, Lieutenant. I follow directives. From who? People who understand that national security requires difficult choices. Vega thought of the man in H19. His calm voice. His detailed knowledge. What happens to them? Eventually, they serve their time. Quietly. Then they're transferred to minimum security under new identities. They get their lives back. Just different lives. And if they refuse to stay quiet? Harding didn't answer immediately. When he spoke, his voice was softer. That hasn't been an issue. Until tonight. Until tonight, Harding agreed. Which brings us to our current problem. You have information that could damage national security operations. Officer Chen has documents that should never have left my office. I don't have anything. Don't insult me, Lieutenant. The man in H19 gave you a file. I know because I've been monitoring his communications for 6 months. Vega's mind raced. If Harding knew about the network, why hadn't he stopped it? You let them build it, she said. The communication system. The notes. You knew. I needed to understand the scope. How many inmates were involved? What they knew. What they were planning. So tonight was a test. Tonight was a controlled demonstration. Those doors unlocked on my authorization. I needed to see who would move, who would stay, who they trusted. Vega felt the ground shifting beneath her. The override wasn't unauthorized. Every security measure at ADX has manual overrides. For emergencies. Harding smiled slightly. This qualified. Then why tell me this? Because you're standing at a decision point, Lieutenant. You can take what you think you know to the FBI. Trigger an investigation. Destroy careers. Compromise ongoing national security operations. And accomplish nothing. Nothing? The system protects itself. The documents you have? They'll disappear. The men in those cells? They'll be transferred before investigators arrive. The ledger? Discredited as a fabrication. Harding pulled a second document from his drawer. A transfer order. Pre-signed. Or you can accept a promotion. Chief of Security. Triple your current salary. And the understanding that some secrets keep people safe. Vega looked at the transfer order. Her name was already on it. You knew I'd find out. I counted on it. You're thorough. Honest. Exactly the kind of officer this facility needs. Harding leaned forward. But honesty without wisdom is dangerous. Some truths serve no purpose except destruction. Those men deserve. Those men are alive because they're invisible. The moment they surface, they become targets. Is that what you want? Vega thought of the man in H19. His careful planning. His precise timing. What does he want? She asked. Leverage. Recognition. A bargaining chip. Harding closed the ledger. He believes he can force transparency. What he doesn't understand is that transparency in this context means death sentences. For who? For every witness in that network. The people they testified against have long memories. Vega's hand moved to her radio instinctively. Chen hasn't left the building, Harding said. He's waiting in the parking lot. With your file. Making his decision. And if he goes to the FBI? Then we both lose good officers. The investigation stalls. And 23 men who trusted the system to protect them spend the rest of their lives looking over their shoulders. Harding stood and walked to the door. He opened it fully. I'm going to get coffee. I'll be back in 10 minutes. When I return, either that file is on my desk, or you're not my problem anymore. He left. Vega stood alone in the office. The red ledger sat open on the desk. Names staring up at her. Her radio crackled. Lieutenant. Chen's voice. I'm in the parking lot. I've got the file. What do you want me to do? Vega looked at the transfer order. Chief of Security. A career move most officers would wait decades for. She thought about the man in H19. His 48-hour disappearance. His manufactured invisibility. She thought about the 23 ghosts. She pressed transmit. Chen. Listen carefully. Drive to the FBI field office in Denver. Give them everything. Don't call. Don't wait. Just drive. Lieutenant, if I do that? I know. Do it anyway. She released the button. Then she picked up the red ledger and walked to the office safe. Harding had left it open. Careless. Or calculated. Inside were duplicates. 3 more ledgers. Backup drives. Physical evidence organized with the same meticulous care Harding applied to everything. He'd never intended to hide it. He'd wanted her to find it. To understand the scope. To feel the weight of the decision. She took photos of every page with her personal phone. Then she put the ledger back exactly as she'd found it. When Harding returned, Vega was gone. The transfer order remained on his desk. Soon. 3 days later, FBI agents arrived at ADX Florence with a federal warrant. They found immaculate records. Spotless documentation. Every inmate accounted for. The red ledger had disappeared. Deputy Warden Harding cooperated fully with the investigation. He provided access to all systems, answered every question. The agents found nothing, but they did find Lieutenant Sarah Vega's resignation letter, dated the morning of their arrival. She cited personal reasons. 4 months later, a package arrived at the Senate Oversight Committee. No return address. Inside were photographs, detailed ledgers, transfer documents, wire records, and a flash drive containing security footage from each unit. 11 minutes of doors unlocking and relocking. Perfectly timed. Perfectly executed. The investigation that followed was quiet, methodical. 17 federal officials resigned. 11 were indicted. ADX Florence underwent complete administrative restructuring, and 23 inmates who didn't officially exist were quietly transferred to witness protection. Real witness protection this time. Given new identities, new lives. Most of them disappeared successfully. Sarah Vega never testified at the trials. She'd left the country 6 weeks after resigning. Last known location, somewhere in South America. Officer Marcus Chen remained at ADX Florence. He received a commendation for integrity. He never spoke publicly about that night. And the man in H19? The cell was emptied the day before the FBI arrived. No transfer order. No documentation. Just an empty concrete room with a ventilation grate that had been recently disturbed. Years later, a journalist investigating the scandal received an anonymous email. It contained a single sentence. Some ghosts choose to stay invisible. The email was traced to an IP address in Berlin. Then it vanished. ADX Florence still operates today. 410 inmates. Officially, the budget still accounts for more. Some say the ghost network was dismantled. Others say it just went deeper underground. And in certain cells, late at night, if you listen carefully to the ventilation system, you might hear something that sounds like whispers. But that's probably just the wind. Probably. This could happen again. If this story shook you, the next one will be worse.